Get into the world of celebrities and Bravo Lebs with What the Reality with me, Cache Roberts. I discuss the mess of it all, from reality TV, Hey Housewives, to iconic pop culture moments in the making. We are talking about it all. Don't forget to leave a 5-star rating and a comment wherever you listen to your podcast. You are listening to What the Reality with me, Cache Roberts. I know she said that before. Because, let's rewind. I came back to the pod. Everything was fine. But I have been noticing, I styled my hair a certain way. I've been noticing, some bulging on the sides of my temples. And either way, I was recording last week. Where have I been? I was recording last week. And I just noticed that, and I'm just noticing my face getting puffier throughout the week, and I'm this insane sinus pressure, just jaw pressure. Slowly developed a sinus infection. WTF. Yeah, my face was getting swollen or puffy, not swollen. It was just puffy. And I still notice some puffiness, with this side. People say I'm crazy. They don't see anything. Just some puffiness in my temples still. That's why I'm kind of self-conscious with how I'm wearing my hair. I'm trying to slim it out. But yes. So it came back to the pod. Was fine. Literally when I was supposed to record Thursday for Friday's show, just noticed some intensity with my headache and, jaw. It's a certain type of sinus infection. It's called maxillary sinus, whatever. Went to the doctor, described to them what I was feeling. Essentially, they believed it was a bacteria infection. The gag is, y'all, because I think I talked about this in my last episode. The gag is I was feeling sick in Cancun, but I thought my body just worked it through. I didn't think it was a thing because every day I woke up in Cancun is a different symptom. One day, but leading up to that, I had a sore throat. And then in Cancun, I was coughing one day. I had a stuffy nose another day. And then I think on my birthday, smooth sailing. So I was yes, I kicked it. I just assumed I kicked it. Start noticing just some, like I said, just swelling in my temples. This side, you're clearly not asymmetrical, but I still am noticing some just swelling here, and it doesn't hurt. It's just fluid. I've done so much, you guys. It's went down drastically, but I just wasn't in a position to film. I had to take a week off, and yeah, I just was not in the position to be filming. And I'm still a little self-conscious because I'm just oh my gosh, can anyone notice? Everyone's no, we can't. But it's still a little fluid. I've went to a drainage massage therapist. I've been on antibiotics. It's my last day on antibiotics, which is why I'm filming today, because I feel so much better. The pressure is gone. The headache is gone. Of course, all that happens now. I get my period. So now I got a headache from the period. It's just non-stop to be a girl. Over it. I don't want to be a girl. No, it's just non-stop. So I was on antibiotics all last week. I just needed a break from the pod, even though I just took a break. I was just I think I'm over pushing my body. I don't know if I should have, even though I was on vacation, after vacation, I was very smart doing that. But then the thing is, I felt fine coming back from vacation. So I was oh my gosh, if I was sick, when you kick it before you even get sick. So I was period. But then, of course, I asked ChatGPT. And then, of course, there's a lot of stuff. It's you would think, a lot of things is because I did have congestion and stuff, but not during my sinus pressure. So it's all of these symptoms I had was a week ago. And so, of course, I thought I was in a clear. So when stuff started happening, I was what's going on? Yeah, so I got a really bad like bacteria sinus infection. It could have been in Cancun. You know what I will say, when I landed in Cancun, the pressure was different. Like I haven't been able to wear my AirPods, like both of them ever since I got this piercing. Um because and that sucks because if I would have known that, I don't think I would have gotten that piercing. I mean, it's a cute piercing, but I don't know if I would have gotten that piercing. So I've been wearing my Beats, but by Kim Kardashian. Hello, but I haven't been able to wear my AirPod in this one. I wear my AirPod in this one, especially like when I'm working and stuff. But I haven't been able to wear it in the other one. And I do notice because I've been on a couple of flights now since my piercing, and it's just totally different flying with Beats versus AirPods. I feel like AirPods is really good at like, that cabin pressure. So when I landed in Cancun, I kid you not, it took me a while for my sinuses, my ear to pop. And so when I started having symptoms of just like this insane pressure like a week later, I'm just like, dang, like maybe it never popped. Um, I just don't think it did. But it's like also you're just traveling different countries. I'm like trying to unravel my braid, but like that's not going anywhere. Um, I don't know, like just traveling different countries. That was my first time out of the country. Your body reacts differently. And I just feel like my face was still trying to pop and catch up. And it's so crazy. So I went to a lymphatic drainage masseuse. She's actually like a jack of all trades. Like she actually has her, she has her certificates and like everything, and she was just able to tell like by the feel of my face like what side was more clogged, and she could tell it was definitely this side. And that's crazy because I've been feeling this side more, like when my ears do pop, like it is this one. And so yeah, I'm on antibiotics for the bacteria sinus, so I think that's been working. I'm still waiting for this extra like just fluid to drain. I'm hoping. I feel like it slowly went down. Like my face was puffy, like too puffy for me to film. Like in my opinion, so I just feel like I have a very like defined face. So it's like when my face is kind of like puffy and like swelling up, I'm like, what the heck? Am I having an allergic reaction? Um, that has been the real tea. But that is where I have been. Like that is where I've been. I haven't even been like posting any TikToks or anything because I just haven't felt the greatest like physically, like with the whole sinus thing, and then just like my face changing, and I'm just like, I just turned 26, so I'm also like how much of that is like mentally like, oh my gosh, I'm 26. But I feel a lot better now that I'm recording. That's my life update. The sinus has passed. I have a show update. I think it's a good show update. I really want to scale Toxic, but it is Tuesday. Toxic Tuesdays here on What the Reality. I really want to scale it upward and really focus my energy on it. And I've really been lacking on pouring into my What the Beauty newsletter. Um, so therefore, drum roll, my show is turning into mostly a weekly production thing on Tuesdays. However, rotating Fridays, bi-weekly Fridays, I will have an episode, but not every Friday. I gotta get back to my newsletter, and it's just definitely taking the back seat this summer. And now as we get into fall, I'm just trying to like set better um boundaries and limits. And it's like I love doing the pod, but like I also love doing my beauty stuff and like my in writing. And it's like that's why I started my newsletter. And it's honestly the last time I updated was July. I actually have a publication edition going out on LinkedIn anytime this week. But it was supposed to be a monthly thing because I was like, okay, I can commit to that. And then I kind of just like forgot about it. I didn't forget about it. I just kept pushing it off because it's like for writers, and writers know, like you really got to be in the mood to write. And I've been having a nice hot girl summer. I really haven't. So I blame it on the vacation. I also blame it on the pod because I've made sure to produce shows twice a week for my pod, but I haven't even like given my newsletter like a monthly edition. I kind of feel like I've been neglecting that artistically. So I will be updating so much on TikTok. If you guys ever want to know, follow me on TikTok, follow me on my Cachet Roberts beauty page, and then of course follow me on my What the Reality podcast page, because I talk about specific topics that's like I glance over on the pod, but I don't really get into them on the pod sometimes. Or like I'll really talk about like an episode of Real Housewives of Miami. So I'll be doing that like just a lot more. But yes, so you can always expect an episode every Tuesday. I don't even know how I want to like reword it. And then I guess I'll just say bi-weekly Friday episodes. And another thing with Friday episodes that is changing, I'm really trying to stick to what's the reality on what the reality for Friday episodes. So if there is a Friday episode coming out, it'll be a topic. And I think that also gives me room now, instead of like four Friday with the realities, to really, focus on the topics I want to focus on for that month. Like a different month, it'll be a different topic. And watch how it just got super dark. Ooh, golden hour. She looks good. It just got super dark because of the clouds. Okay, I just brought that up a little. I hope it autocorrects. I think it is. Yeah, it's just been difficult balancing the two and showing love to both of them. And I know me, so I'm like, so I really want to like scale up Tuesday and really focus on my what's the reality on what the reality. So it's very rare that Friday episodes, I'll just be talking like I do on Toxic But It's Tuesdays. But on the bright side, Toxic But Tuesdays will be as long as I want them. Like sometimes they're going to be 90 minutes, you guys. Like I hope you're ready. Like that's the good thing about it. It's like I used to keep it sweet to an hour because I'm like, okay, I'll see you guys Friday. And if I don't see you Friday, like, you know what I mean? Like, for what's the reality, we can still continue the conversation. But now I'm like, I'm going to finish my thoughts for Toxic But It's Tuesdays, because these are the episodes that will be feeding the girls. And then Fridays, I really want them to focus mostly on a different topic. And I'm very much in my, okay, now the sun want to come out. And I'm very much in my relationship era. Like I'm really enjoying deep diving into these Bravo relationships, whether it's like friendships or like ex relationships. So those are some updates that is going on. And I think overall it'll make the show like just better and well-rounded if we just focus on Toxic But It Is Tuesday, because I just feel like I get a lot of warm reception when I talk about the crap I talk about for Toxic But It's Tuesdays, and then also what's the realities. A lot of people are still showing love to my Bethany and Carol Radziwill friendship breakdown. I think a lot of people are going to be excited to discover my next. It's low-key Roni based topic. I think you'll be really excited about that one because it is back in the Roni hemisphere. So not this Friday, because I gotta give myself some time to catch up. I got a newsletter coming out this week, but definitely next Friday there'll be a what's the reality topic. So that's the only thing. But it's like you're gonna be getting 2 episodes before the Friday. I mean, obviously this episode, and you'll be getting another Tuesday episode. Tuesdays aren't changing. It's just Fridays. I had to really I want that to really be what's the reality on what the reality. And I'm a one-woman show. Those topics take research. I fall in the rabbit holes. I try to get as much information as possible on the topics I'm talking about. So I'm trying to move out of the sun. So I just think it's better, and it gives me more time not to produce them weekly, but bi-weekly. And yeah, so that's the format. Look forward to Toxic But It's Tuesdays every Tuesday, no matter what. And if it's not on Tuesday, you should be checking my TikTok, because I probably gave you a life update. I was given life updates like, oh my gosh, sick after vacation. Like, I'll be back for the next Toxic But It's Tuesday, taking a week off. I'll let you guys know. And then if I'm not on social media, just let me be. If I'm not on social media, not even on my Cachet Roberts, just let me, girl. Let a girl be. I don't think I even want an update. I don't know. I might have to do little updates on Instagram too now. I'm gonna start posting on Instagram again. I post on Reels, but I don't know if anyone is on Reels. You know what I mean? I mean, not well, Reels and Shorts. I think there's more people on YouTube Shorts than there is on Reels. But that is the catch up. Had a little sinus infection, almost took me out. I'm feeling a lot better. Half of my face is still congested somehow, so I'm still trying to figure that out. And the other update is that the Friday episodes are definitely going to be changing to a bi-weekly format, but they're going to be strictly what's the reality on what the reality. And I'm really excited for my next topic. There will not be one this Friday, but the next next Friday there will be, because like I said, it takes a lot of research and I like to just give myself at least a full weekend and a week and a half to really dive into, just those topics and stuff. But how are you guys doing? It was like a 15-minute long update, but it was very necessary. I want to get into another thing like that's changing for Toxic, but it's Tuesdays. Like, yes, I'm going to keep doing the reality topics, but I also want to have a specific segment called Toxic, but it's Tuesday. And that segment is going to talk about everything that is toxic this Tuesday that I probably won't talk about in my reality topics. And this is going to be kind of like these quick shooter hits, just stuff we're talking about before we get into reality topics. So that's going to be also something that's changing on the episodes as well. So I definitely want to get into Toxic, but it's Tuesday segment, because I don't know if you guys have seen, if you've been living under a rock, but TikTok, if you're scrolling on TikTok long enough and you end up on food TikTok, there is this account. It's called like Brain Rot Reels or something. It's really creepy. And they basically do these deep dives. It's not even a deep dive, because I look at the video is like 2-3 minutes long. But they basically do these deep dives at these restaurants. And Wendy's one has like over like 3 million views. And it's just them like basically, I'm gonna pull one up, but it's basically them like showing how toxic it is to eat at these fast food places. And I just think this is so crazy to be watching. Um, what is it called? It's called Brain Rot Reels. And it looks insane. They just did one for Chuck E. Cheese. Like, it's actually scary. They just did one for Starbucks. This is the Wendy's one. It's at 5 million. Like, literally, look at it. And the gag is they are literally adding the companies. So it's basically just exposing them for like all the stuff. I mean, the stuff that I think is crazy that we're learning, like there was a Taco Bell one. I knew that meat was not real. Also didn't know a dog was like a literal mascot for them back like in the 90s. But it's like these takeovers at these restaurants exposing them like how dirty, filthy, and like, there was a Chick-fil-A one and that was like my Shayla, because I used to work at Chick-fil-A and like I would still argue Chick-fil-A is like healthier than like McDonald's and stuff. I mean, still fast food. But the the way they reverted back their chicken crisis is crazy. Like, because they were in a chicken crisis, but now they're like, now all of them are just going to be steroid up, which I think is insane. But they weren't doing that before. So it's like exposing how they make the stuff. Like the Chick-fil-A one, they said like we pump up all the chicken with this and it looked disgusting. And then there was one for which one? The Taco Bell one, like how all the meat comes already prepackaged and you just like put it on the taco. There was one for the Wendy's, like the nacho cheese or something. Basically, that is what's on my Toxic But It's Tuesday, because I'm like, that is toxic AF, but it's like also we need to see that as audience and like consumers. And it just makes you not want to shop at freaking, like restaurant. It makes you not want to eat at these fast food places like any longer. Like by all means, you're just like, ew, it's disgusting. What else is toxic? We're talking about Real Housewives in Miami, but the treatment of Lisa is toxic AF. Like, I'm not here for it. We're getting into that. That made it to the Toxic But It's Tuesdays list. Also made it to the list. We're not talking about Below Deck this episode because I can't even fathom talking about Below Deck. I think production and Bravo miscalculated how much we enjoy Below Deck, how it originally is. I think what people love the most about Below Deck is that, um, it was just different than the other shows. They've really leaned into like the influencer, the Instagram layout format. We barely see the charters now. Like the time, like it's really about the drama now within the crew, which I think is like sometimes good, but now we rarely see like the charters. I feel like it's just always like a ticking time of like, oh, this is what they're doing throughout the day. So I don't really know what like Below Deck like is gonna do moving forward. I think the show could be a lot better, and like they need to go back to like how the original format of the show was. I don't think it's really good, and I've been on Twitter during like a lot of times after these episodes, and I think a lot of people are not digging the new format. A lot of people are calling for So to be off the show, especially Stewie after that disgusting like take of him like meeting that girl at the bar. It's just not what we want to see. I think what we like the most about Below Deck is seeing the insane guests, and we're not even really seeing them. Like, I just think they're cutting so much. They really miscalculated what we wanted to see on Below Deck. So that made it to the list. Of course, back to Miami, I meant to say. But Adriana calling Kiki Ratchet, of course, made it to the list. We're going to talk about Miami. Janae from Love Island USA was spotted with Key Glock, and everyone's like, period, like moving on from Kenny. I'm sorry, that is like the most toxic take ever if she does end up with this rapper. Like, talk about a setback. I don't think she at all is considering him. I think she's the love interest in his upcoming music video. Speaking of toxic, his ex, Corinne, who used to be this IG baddie, back in the day, says that he used to allegedly assault her like a bunch of times, like physically. So we don't want that for our good sis Janae. I don't think the girls are thinking when they're like, this is an upgrade from Kenny. I'm like, how? I mean, yeah, Kenny's a weirdo, but like, we don't want her with some rapper. Like, we don't want Janae with some rapper. I don't think Janae would go with a rapper. I think she's getting her bag post breakup. And even Lizzo shouted Janae out, which is not on the toxic list, but I'm just saying, like, I just think Janae's like the it girl right now following that breakup. And Peacock probably just wanted her in his music video. Also, why are we still talking about this man in like 2025? Like, that's so 2015 in my opinion. But the people, I think it's toxic. The people are like, yes, this is what we want for her. This is, I'm all for like moving on, but like, not no Peacock, because who was that? We're not talking about Love Island today. We're going to talk about the reunion looks because I do want to touch on those. We'll talk a little bit about what I've been hearing, but the reunion is going to come out when this episode comes out. So we're not talking about Love Island. We're talking about the most recent stuff, and that's why it's made it to the toxic, but it is Tuesday. That's why it's made it to the toxic, but it is Tuesday because apparently Pepe cheated on Iris in a hotel lobby. Talk about toxic Tuesday. So they've unfollowed each other. There's not really much to talk about, so I guess I will talk about it real quick. Apparently, he screwed some girl in the hotel lobby. And now Iris has unfollowed him. Also hearing Amaya and Brian have unfollowed each other. They didn't last. So that leaves Nick and Alandria if they are dating, which I do think they are dating. I think they're going at their own pace. But that honestly leaves just Ace and Shelly as like the only legit couple that's together. Taylor and Clark are together still, but like I don't give them that long. I really only give Ace and Shelly the distance. If anything, I think Nick and Alandria would like agree to just like be friends and carry on that way because they're making so much money together. I think they're together, but it changes. People say one moment they're together, one moment they're not. I think he likes her more than she likes him, but I think that's how it should be initially. I think it's a lot coming out the villa, being in a relationship. Of course, it would not be my pod if I was not having technical difficulties with my Wi-Fi. every single time. But yes, what was I saying? That's the rumors. The rumors is that Iris has unfollowed Pepe, Amaya, and Brian are no longer following each other. And the gag is the reunion airs tonight. Like by the time you guys listen to this, the reunion will have been out. And it's just like, dang, was the reunion filmed too early? Even though I thought them waiting to film it so late was a good idea. Now I'm like, you should have waited another month because it looks like Amaya and Brian are no longer together. We're gonna see if the reunion if it's giving that, like if it makes sense as to why. And then is it making sense as to why Iris and Pepe wasn't gonna last? I don't know. The girl then hopped on social media with a bunch of screenshots basically saying she's had sex with Pepe in the hotel lobby, recovering. I don't know. It's a crazy post. And we don't know what happened with Amaya and Brian finally on Toxic, but it is Tuesday segment. Before we get into these reality topics, and finally the sun kind of dipped down too, so I think the lighting looks a lot better now. But Adi and Ollie's relationship is currently playing out on Perfect Match. I am not going to watch that show, but it is currently playing out on that show. And the girls are saying it never gave healthy. And it's crazy to me because we always thought it did because she is pregnant with child right now and they're engaged. But it just goes back to what I was saying on one of my earlier episodes. I couldn't even tell you which one. Listen to them all. But I said Adi and the one girl from when she was with Tyler, Ashley. I was like, those are male-centered women. So nothing really shocks me with Adi. She's a male-centered woman. Yeah, they're saying it don't look good, and they don't understand why she is with Ollie. I guess they're giving very like toxic love, but Adi love that toxic stuff. Like her season with Clay was nothing but toxic, and she just loves that toxic love. So I'm just really not shocked that this is what the folks are saying. I might watch it. I'm literally going to talk about Love is Blind in this episode because I've been enjoying Love is Blind UK. So I might watch Perfect Match. I didn't watch the first season, but I didn't watch even Love is Blind, the American version, the last couple seasons. I've been so over them. The UK version, though, I can get with. Just like the Ultimatum Queer Love, the Ultimatum Period. But the Love is Blind American version, it's kind of lost its sauce for me. I'm going to try to watch Perfect Match and maybe update you next Tuesday. But that is for your toxic, but it's Tuesday topics. Now let's get into these reality topics, which will remain the same on Tuesdays as well. But I just wanted to toxic, but it's Tuesday section because, like I said, those are topics like I'm not necessarily going to get really into, but it's like giving toxic. Okay. Reality topics. I don't know. Is Cardi B pregnant or not? She dropped her version of Imaginary Players from Jay-Z. They're saying that's why Nicki Minaj was upset a couple months ago and went on another one of her, rants. I don't think I can say a drug rant because Nicki Minaj is a drug addict, but allegedly she just be on that stuff and then she be tweeting up a storm. So Cardi B was posting something. What was the song? Jay-Z song? It was Imaginary Players. So she did that. I'm not about to play it, but I did want to check. Okay, so she's at 4.6 million views. People were liking it, but unfortunately it did not sustain the charts. Like it fell off Spotify really fast, fell off of Apple very fast, fell off of Billboard very fast. Like it's still up there, but it's not up there. So I don't know. I just thought that was interesting. But she's at 4.6 million views, at least on YouTube. But I'm hearing didn't really sustain chart wise. Either way, she posted like a little snippet of her like rapping to it. And they're saying, wow, she's really pregnant. And then she was tweeting something. She was like, or am I pregnant? Basically like trying to feed in. Is she pregnant or not? I don't know if the girl's pregnant. She stay pregnant. But people are upset because they're like, well, dang, like, are you not going to go on tour soon? Like, you got all this stuff happening. You know, she got an album coming out. Am I the drama? And I'm assuming that Imaginary Players is going to be on there, but I'm not sure. So, is Cardi B pregnant? I don't know. Another topic I wanted to get into, Naomi, well, Trinity and Jimmy Uso are pregnant. And this is just unlocking something in the 13-year-old, 14-year-old reality junkie in me. Do you guys remember when Total Divas used to be on? So apparently, Naomi, I keep saying her name's Naomi. Her name's not Naomi, it's Trinity. Her WWE name is Naomi. They are pregnant, super happy for them. This is their first child together, but she is a stepmother to his two older children. I think his children are like 16, 17. Um, but yeah, she did confirm her pregnancy at Monday Night Raw, which is crazy because she's like 7 weeks pregnant. And there's the son like being weird again. She's 7 weeks pregnant, and it's just crazy because she literally was like doing tosses and flips and all this stuff pregnant, very early pregnant, and it's already a high risk pregnancy because she is older and she did have an ovary removed. She's had a pregnancy journey, so it's good that she is taking a step back now. She was also recently crowned the champion. I think her reign was like 32 days or something. So it was just a lot of emotion for her, but we're super excited for her, super happy because, like you said, this is something that she's wanted. Uh, um, but I know she was like expressing on the podcast. Whose podcast was she on? She was on Stephanie McMahon's What's Your Story podcast, and just saying how it is high risk and how basically, she didn't think she could have like the fame, like the career and the baby. Jimmy's super happy. They're both very happy. I'm super happy for them. I'm praying for a very, healthy pregnancy for her. But on period, that is unlocking something in my little Total Divas wildest dreams because I remember just like watching that, and I used to literally love Trinity Naomi. Like, and she was also like one of the only Black women on the show that has some sort of career growth at WWE. I could never get into WWE like at all, like because it's acting. Um, I could never get into it. But it's like literally acting. They're like literally, it's like literal acting class, like improv. Like, well, not even because I don't even know. Is it improv? I don't know. It's such an interesting sport to me, because like clearly they're fit, but there's like storylines and there's like acting. I can never get into it. Super happy though for her. I'm like on period as you should. And yes, what else is happening with reality topics before we get into Love is Blind? I'm super excited to talk about Real Housewives of Miami. We've missed some stuff. There was so much I wanted to talk about before I had like a sinus infection, but I'm like, it's not even timely anymore. So it's like, we got to leave it in the past. But we've missed so many Miami episodes. So I'm really excited to talk about like the most recent one because what was that? But okay, so what else is happening? Zoe Kravitz, that girl is moved on from Channing Tatum. In her defense, he's also moved on. It's just wild to me that they were like engaged like a year ago, and they've both been like spotted like in new, completely different relationships. Um, so she's been spotted with Austin Butler like a week ago, and I was kind of like, that's tea. And now she's been spotted with Harry Styles, wrapped up in RHOM. Wrapped up in RHOM is crazy. Um, hey, if you got it, flaunt it. Would support the Austin Butler. I don't know if I support Harry. I just think Harry's a weird one. Also, don't like the fact he won. Whether you're over say I'll never get over that. Let's get into Lil Nas X because I don't understand what is happening with him. It seems as though he, skyrocketed to fame and is now having a very disgraceful fall. So let me see if I can pull this story up because very sad, very sad. So he's facing 4 felony counts after allegedly charging at a cop while fully naked. So I don't know if you guys seen the video of him like walking around um, the city, and he was like in his underwear. He were saying overdose, very unfortunate. Yes, so the TMZ video showed the performer wearing only tidy whities and white cowboy boots, strolling and posing in LA Street just before sunrise and just before his arrest. Um, so it turns out he apparently like assaulted the officer. I'm trying to see. He's 26. He's a 99 baby, by the way. Which I didn't realize. I did not know he was 26 and born in 99, like myself. Um, what? They said he's not on drugs, but he did plead not guilty to felony charges of assaulting police. But I don't see how you do that if you didn't assault the cops. So he was arrested last week after spotted wandering. Let me see, because they said he had 4 felony counts. Upon arrival, the suspect charged at officers and was taken into custody. So one of them is he has 3 on battery, and then one of them for resisting arrest, essentially. So he has 4 felony charges, and he's pleading not guilty. Um, but he just doesn't look right. I have noticed like he's not as popping lately, and I'm sure that has to be crazy, like being like one of like a black country artist, and then it's kind of like you're kind of irrelevant. Like Shabuzi's kind of taking that role, and of course Beyonce, but it's kind of like he's like falling in the background. But he's been falling in the background. I just hear he's been doing some weird stuff. He had that weird music video with like all that red blood and stuff. Like he's just been falling very much to the background. So we shall see. They're saying he's not on drugs, but they are saying like the officers are alleging that he like allegedly attacked one of them and was resisting arrest. So that's where the 4 felonies is coming from. I wanted to also talk about these Love Island USA reunion looks in honor of Love Island USA um, reunion airing tonight. And honestly, I don't even want to talk about all of them. I'm just going to give like, I just want to talk about like the core people. Well, of course, Ariana ate down. Ariana looks really good. Andy Cohen needs to shave the beard. He looks old. Amaya, I think when you see her dress close up, it looks beautiful. Like it's literally like a little gift. Like her makeup looks beautiful. The hair. I actually really love her dress. Her dress is probably like one of my favorite dresses I've seen from the night. I like how it's short too. It's just fun and flirty, and it's definitely giving like her personality. Um, and then who else do we have? We have Brian. I think I liked Brian's look too. It was like giving like Joker. They didn't go together, but it was very nice. I think Alandria looks gorgeous. Hair, makeup, body tea. When isn't her body tea? Like her body's insane. I think Nick looked a little cheap, but I understand like the vibe he was trying to go for. But I thought it looked cheap. I thought Huda's hair and makeup aged her at least 10 years. Like she looks like 35 and she is 24 with a kid. Um the dress I can't see because she's so busy showing off the back. I mean, her back looks amazing, but her hair and makeup looks terrible. And you know who did her hair? Chris Appleton, who's like responsible for doing like all the celebrity makeup. Unfortunately for Chris Appleton, he I don't have an issue with Chris Appleton. I think he's an icon, a legend. Like think it's a good hairstylist. I don't think they did her hair right. She looks older. Like she looks a lot older in this picture. I'm gonna bring up the pictures on the screen. I don't think she looks really good. And like I said, her makeup, I think she gets away best with like less is more, and I don't think she needed the eyeliner. I think she looks older than what she is. And you would hate for your hair and makeup to age you. Like, yes, you want to look older, but you don't want to look like an elder. And this aged her at least 10 years. Then they're showing Jeremiah. Jeremiah had the chest hair out. I was trying to see if that was a Chanel bracelet. It is not. It is not, but he looks good. And then we have Shelly. Shelly looked really good. I love the wet hair look. Her makeup looked good. Her and Alandra were like the same vibe, like the golden vibes. I thought she looked really good. And then I thought Ace was probably the best dressed guy. And I think he was upset that he was not at the Met Gala. So he was like, let me show you guys what I would have worn if I was invited to the Met Gala, because it's so giving Black dandyism, which was this past Met Gala's theme. I think his look was probably the best his and Shelly's. I like Alandria's and I loved her makeup, but I don't think the makeup photographed well. But it looks like it recorded well, which is really what matters, because it looks like at the reunion, it looks good. Here, it does not look good in the picture, but it don't look bad. It just makes her look too harsh. But like I can tell during like filming, her makeup looks good. So I just think it's like the way it was photographed. But her body eats like all the time. Like I'm always like shocked that it's like all real, because it's very rare you get butt, waist, breasts. Like it's so rare, and she got all of it, and she got the face. Like period. I am a Nicolandria stan. Um, through and through. Let's talk about Love is Blind UK before we talk about Miami, because Miami got a little something else to talk about, like a quick topic. I've been watching Love is Blind UK. Are you guys? So Love is Blind UK. I just want to talk about like some of the couples, and then we'll talk about Miami. So Patrick and his splenic awareness, I caught BS on him from day one. Um, from asking Anua constantly to sing for him, and just the whole spiritual thing is just an ache for me. I feel like people that lead with that have no identity, and I just feel like he had no identity besides constantly trying to talk about his spleen. It was getting weird in my Nene Leakes voice. He was just like, yeah, I have a splenic feeling. And he was trying to justify how he moved to his spleen. It was so weird. And like, he was like, I just go off of energy and like my spleen. And that was his whole personality the whole time. Um, uh, he was weird. And I'm so glad I was right about him. I think Anua did want to be married though. And I don't even think she was feeling him. So I was shocked when she kind of did a 180 and like wrote a whole song for him. But I'm also like Anua, because I'm just like, you're not going to keep telling me to do something. Like, I tell you I'm a singer, you're like, sing for me. I'm like, ew. Like, I don't. And then she was like, well, I don't really like to do that. Like, she's like, I don't like to brag about my accomplishments. And he was like, well, I hate that society tells us we should be humble. He just was too much. He was way too much. He was an ick. And then I hated that she gave in and sung a song for him. Like, if the fact that she wouldn't sing a song for you because she didn't like being put on the spot, was such a splenic communicative feeling for you, then you should have been left her. I just think they weren't gonna mesh well. I think it's crazy that she's saying now, like, because I'm all caught up. Are you guys caught up? You gotta make sure you're caught up. We're all caught up to like a certain point, episode 8, I think. I think it's crazy though when they did officially meet. She's like calling him a liar and stuff. The way she kind of went off on him, I thought was a little uncalled for. I did think it was funny how she was like, your scarf don't even match. And I guess he was right to go with that splenic feeling, because I just don't think they would have been like right for each other, like at all. It just was giving like not right for each other. So I'm kind of glad like they did not work out, but the whole splenic thing is just weird to me. Like people like that are just weird to me. Okay, who else do I want to talk about? Ashley and oh my gosh. I mixed that up. It's Meg. It's Meg. Love them. I'm so glad Karen chose Meg over Sophie. Sophie, Sophia is one of those girls that is a mean girl and just kind of wants you to put up with their stuff. She's like, I don't open up. I'm not vulnerable. It's hard to get to me. You won't be disappointed when you see me. You're going to be sorry. Clearly that hasn't worked for you. And I feel like you can't come into an experiment looking for therapy. You have to have already went to therapy, then go into the experiment. She was not willing to change. She came off she came off very bitchy. She came off very bitchy. And very like, I'm the prize. Like, it's like, all women, I agree, you should think you're the prize, but she wasn't the prize at all because she actually had a terrible attitude. She had a very terrible attitude. And I'm so glad Karen listened to his freaking splenic. I'm glad he listened to his splenic, his spleen, and picked Meg because they were so much better suited. I think at first they were like worried it would be like only physical, or like, he was afraid like they wouldn't have that connection like him and Sophie did. Like they had a intellectual one, but then the intellectual, it just became so like draining. And it's like, okay, you don't even want to crack a joke. And I think Meg and him are like best suited. I know for a fact that if they are together, they are still together today. They are such a good couple. They match each other's fly. I love Meg. I love how she was styling her hair. She has gorgeous hair. I like how she told Javen off, Javin off in that last episode, who I was also right about. I love them. There's nothing for me to really say besides I cannot wait to see their journey at the reunion and how I'm hoping they're still together. And I'm hoping they say I do. I just think they were meant to find each other. And I'm glad he did not pick that weird Sophie girl that is so fixed in her ways, and it makes sense as to why she hasn't found anyone. It's like you came on this show thinking you was gonna be the hot commodity. I need more gloss as I talk about Sophie. But and it's just like, I don't know. I did not like her energy in the pods at all. Confused with how all of a sudden she has energy for Jordan. But whatever. I want to talk about Billy and Ashley because that's a couple like we really thought were strong. He got beef with the air stewardesses. He doesn't like y'all. He just left a relationship with one of y'all. He doesn't like a stewardess, and unfortunately, Ashley, that is her job. Ashley has went from this confident, vibrant person. Billy's also very controlling, but I'm watching Ashley kind of shapeshift in front of our eyes as well. She went from this confident woman, all of this stuff, yada, yada, yada. I told y'all this episode was going to be long. Like, we're already darn near over an hour, and I haven't even talked about Miami. Ashley's she went from this bubbly girl to like second guessing herself. And it's like, I would say that is not your man then instantly, because he's already made her like second guess so much stuff. He's very controlling with the food thing, with the ironing, with the, he was saying something else. And I was just like, Ashley, girl, you need to leave. His routine. He's a control freak, and then he's bringing back up this when she thought it was aired out. It's not going to be good though. I hope she doesn't say yes because it's getting desperate. Like, this man is basically telling you he wants you to quit your job. And if you want to quit your job for this man. I don't think it'll be worth it, because the food conversation to me was a red flag. How he's like, you can't have any sweets around the house. Like, I can't be preaching and I'm practicing something different. But it's like, just buy your fruit and stuff and don't eat. Like, why do I have to not get things that make me happy to make you happy? And it's like, there has to be some sort of compromise. He's like, I don't need sweets in the house. I'll probably just do vegetables, rice, and mince. And I'm like, what is mince? Like, had to Google it. Basically, he eats a very like, I was gonna say, like, I mean, it's a human diet. I mean, he eats a very boring diet. He eats rice, steamed vegetables, not even roasted with seasoning, and a plank of meat. That's what his meals consist of. I mean, he eats very gym like. And she was saying she has a sweet tooth, she might want this. He was judging her for wanting onions. He's a control freak. Ashley, out get out. And they started off the strongest. Like, that was the couple we were like, oh yeah, they're taking it. They're going all the way. They started out the strongest, and it's giving not that now. And it is unfortunate, but I do think she will regret saying yes. Because I think she's going to say yes because she wants to be married so bad. And he's already been through a divorce, and I don't think he wants to go through another one. So I think he's looking at it more logically, which I do think is important to have in a relationship. I don't think she should say yes. I think they should cut their ties. He's very controlling. And it just seems like he's very controlling. He's very controlling. Down to the food. Oh, y'all gonna have some problems. I want to talk about Savora and Kyle. Savora and Kyle. Kyle has made it very known that he probably would not have dated Savora in the outside world. Savora has made it clear that she probably would have went after Kyle. The interesting thing is Kyle is Pakistani, and Savora is Indian. And, being from America, I didn't know there were tensions. I mean, I'm sure I learned in middle school at one point in time, like about a war, like, the war in 1947, I think I was reading. But, being from America, you don't really know about like all the time of like culture tensions besides like, we know like about Gaza, we know about like Russia, China. We don't really know about like what else, like the not even third world because they're not third world, but I'm just saying you don't know all of this stuff. So it was very enlightening for me as a consumer and as a viewer to learn that like these are two different cultures that normally the parents are not giving their approval. And I think that's why I'm rooting for them the most, because I'm like, how did y'all find each other? What are the odds y'all have found each other in this experiment, being from total, and you're not even opposite cultures, but it's like cultures that you're not supposed to be together, apparently, because of your culture tensions. I just feel like, what are the odds you guys have found each other in this experiment? And that's why I really want it to work for them. I think they will actually work out. At first when they met, I was like, I don't know if it's working, but I did love him. Kept calling her princess. I was like, okay, period. But now as I watch it, I think they're one of the strongest couples as well. He even says like he normally is sick of like talking to girls. The living part has been super easy. I think we are seeing a reformed playboy settle into this life with this beautiful, gorgeous Indian princess and really change their ways. Also, Cal is probably like one of the most attractive men I've seen. Like the blue eyes, like he is definitely giving like Princess and a Frog, like Prince, 110%. I'm rooting for them. I was gagged though when the mom asked, "What did you love? What do you love the most about my daughter?" And he was like, "She's a proper Southern girl. I've never dated anyone from the South." So when I'm in America, I'm thinking, is she from the South? But like a posh Southern girl, like he's used to dating like the English whatever. And then he said she likes fitness. Like the answer was so bad. Like you could tell the mom was looking at her like the answer was so bad. I think he was nervous because then like he was able to warm up and be like, you know what, like, we have the same core values. Like we both love our family. And then it was something he said. He was like, good job. You did a good job with her. And you could tell her sister was like, this is the man you're about to marry. It was so bad. I was actually gagged by that, but they straightened that out. I think he was just nervous to meet I think he was just nervous, but it ended up working out. And I think it's because the mom low-key likes him. I think the mom was giving him the eyes. She was just kind of like, you know what? He's actually cute. I think the mom was shocked with how gorgeous he was because he's a gorgeous man. Um, Jen and Badu, unexpectedly smooth sailing, which isn't always a good thing because it's like you guys do need to see how you argue or like hash or have a disagreement. It looks like they are going to have a disagreement in one of the final episodes, so that'll be interesting. But I'm actually here from them. They're also an example of very similar cultures. Like she is Albanian, or he's Albanian, and and he's Turkish. It's very similar cultures. They both have said. So I also think that's very interesting. I'm rooting for them as well, but I'm really rooting for Megan and Karen. Megan, Karen, and that leads me to Katisha and Javin. Javin was an a-hole as soon as we saw him. He only got serious about Katisha when Demila really liked her. I wish I could say I feel bad for Katisha. I really don't. I think Demila would have been her perfect match. I think this man was willing to work with her, be vulnerable with her, and she picked the same exact type of guy that she always does. And that's the point of the experiment, is to pick someone different. You didn't know where you stood with this man. This man over here talking dirt on your name in the men's quarter, saying she's going to have to propose to me for it to move any forward. And I just feel like the signs were there for her not to pick him. The signs were there. And she still picked him. And it was giving to me like you were very insecure because you had this man, Demila, pouring his heart out. You were reassuring him. And then you switch within a day. You and Javin meet. There's no chemistry. They never had chemistry even before the whole incident. We're going to get into the incident. But you did all of that for what? And now you left the experiment with nothing. Spoiler alert, y'all. They didn't work out. They did not work out. But anyone could see they were not going to work out. Javin was very guarded. He seemed very disinterested. I'm telling you, he saw it as a competition. He won, period. He never said he loved her. He never even said he could make it to the aisle. I think it was a lot of red flags. She kept saying they had a strong bond, but they need to work on their communication skills. I feel like communication is like one of like the biggest things that could go wrong. And they had a very bad communication problem. They didn't talk. They didn't talk about anything. So every time I saw them on the screen, it was like watching paint dry. It was so uncomfortable. I'm like, what are we watching? Like literally, what are we watching? There's a situation, the group gets together. The sun is setting, which is perfect for me and my lighting. The group gets together and Javin is eyeing every single girl that walks in, from Anua, from Sophia to Yolanda. He is not interested in Katisha. And I wonder how much of it is like he was also, I think, shocked they walked out engaged because I think he was expecting to say like bye to her. I don't see how the notes he wrote down switched her mind. Like I said, she's used to a certain type and she still chose that same type, where it's like she clearly had this man that was ready to love her and she not ready to receive that type of love. That's an insecurity within yourself. You feel like you don't deserve that. And I feel like even if she would have picked Damala, she would have found a way to self-sabotage that relationship because that man is so sweet and emotionally mature. So I think everything works out for a reason. Do I think she should have picked Demila? Yes. But I do think it worked out for a reason because I don't think she's ready to receive that type of love. And I think Demila would have given her a lot more than Javen gave her. He gave her nothing. Like, nada. I don't know why she even picked him. I really don't. Especially with the notes he shared. Because I'm like, that wouldn't have been enough for me to switch from a good man like Demila. But so the group is meeting up and basically, I don't know. I'm about to be at 2 hours, you guys. Is it 2 hours? I'm about to be like at like 90. I said like 90 minutes, the Toxic but Tuesday episodes. I'm just can't believe I'm going this long because we haven't even talked about Miami, which, oh my gosh, we gotta talk about Miami. So I guess he Javen went out after she was clearly upset after him talking too much to Sophia. I didn't even know him and Sophia had a connection in the pods, but they were both doing way too much at the mixer. Sophia and Karen also met each other. He said she's an attractive girl. And then he was also like, I'm just waiting to see like the girl you're talking about. Sophia was really catty, and I'm glad Meg told him the real. I don't know what Karen's point was coming over there to say. Like, I saw the same Sophie in the pods. I think that girl is two-faced as well, Megan. So you're not alone. Alone, and the girls also think that, especially the way she did her good friend Katisha. Apparently, her Sophia and Jevin snuck off to the photo booth and closed the curtain. Apparently, he was all up on Yolanda. Apparently, he was all up on Anua. And Meg was a real one and told Katisha, she was like, he was not moving like you guys were fiancés. And Katisha was shocked, but she packed her bags and she got up out of there. Jiven wanted to clear his name. Was trying to gaslight her. But my thing is like, why would Meg and Karen lie about that? And they both saw it, and good thing Meg went, because I do think like the men probably would have tried to cover for him, especially him calling his splenic awareness friend Patrick. And then he's trying to get into semantics. He's trying to get into specific details of like, well, you're saying I was with the girls the whole 2-3 hours. Like, that doesn't even make any sense. Like, I was there for 2-3 hours. And Meg's like, every time I looked at you, you were with the girls. You were not with the men. You were moving very single, buddy. They got in a whole screaming match, and Meg told him off. And you know what? Karen let his woman. He let his woman tell him off, as a real one would. There was just nothing really to defend. I feel like he was trying to clean up the act, but it's like, also, I don't know if you guys clocked, his older sister is in the midst of planning a wedding and stuff. So there's just some part of me that looks at Jevin like, you're a real red flag. I even feel like the sister was like, it's crazy to me you're doing this within 3 weeks. Also meeting the parents, like the exchanges, they just weren't there. It is crazy to me that you were planning a wedding and you see me planning this for the past 10 months. And I just think it's that sibling rivalry too. Like, he's like, well, I'm about to get married before my sister. So I don't know. Jevin, as soon as I saw him, I thought he was a player and he was not there for love. And as soon as Demila, like, he was even saying stuff how like Demila's like trying to love bomb her and stuff. And she never used those words. And I just felt really bad for Demila, because I just really hope he does find a woman. Hey, Demila. No, I just feel like he really deserves like someone that's like ready for love. And it's unfortunate because even like Anua, like, I wonder why they didn't get together. I don't know. I just feel like I felt really bad for Demila in that situation. He got the short end of the stick. I don't feel bad for Katisha. I am not one of those toxic women that supports women's rights and wrongs, like, at all. I can't. You had all the signs there and you did the same thing. Now, what I will commend her on is that she got out before that wedding. But she was lying to herself that whole experience. Like, there was just things I just feel like you have to clock. But I could talk about Love is Blind, like, for real. So the rest of the episodes come out August 27th. So I might next Tuesday to finish it off talking about it. But I want to talk about Miami right now. And essentially Jody texting Larsa and everyone saying Texas. Like, it's basically like Jody Texas, Larsa. I'm just like, have we learned nothing from Beverly Hills? It's not how you say texting in plural terms. It's text. Everyone's saying Texas. I don't know why Jody was texting Larsa. I do think it was inappropriate, but I don't think he was saying anything inappropriate. I just don't think they should even be texting. Apparently they've texted in the past. I just think they shouldn't be texting. I think Larsa is a groupie, though. She's calling everyone else a groupie. She's very dismissive whenever you show any emotion. Like, she told Adriana to go sit in the corner. She told Alexia to tell her to shut up. Like, I don't know what Lars's deal is. I don't know if you guys realize her filler is migrating like heck. Her face looks so lumpy. Like her lip filler is like down here now, so her face is just super lumpy down there. Um and it just looks terrible. So every time I look at Larsa, I just get disgusted sometimes. But let's talk about Stephanie playing this like cool girl act. Stephanie like loves to dangle her jet in front of the ladies and her wealth. And Alexia, it looks like a preview. Alexia and Marisol like patting up. I feel like Alexia hit it nail on the head. Like she does dangle her wealth. You guys can say what you want about Dr. Nicole, but not too much because that's my girl. But Dr. Nicole would never exclude someone on a 22-minute jet ride because they're getting along and make a whole seating schedule of like, you sit here, you sit there. Like, this is making sense more and more while Stephanie's sisters do not talk to her. It makes a lot more sense. I don't think her sisters talk to her because of her behavior. She dangles her wealth in front of people and she reeks of new money. Like, you could tell you are new to this, not true to this. You just got up on the come up, basically, in my opinion. But that's Stephanie's behavior with the whole jet thing is making me very uncomfortable. And you could tell it's even making Marisol uncomfortable. But I really am not liking, like, on Miami, how they are treating Lisa and how they're trying to police her phone. You know, she has 2 younger children. And I'm just like, Marisol, how are you to tell Lisa? Marisol, also, you have no children. How are you to tell her how to move during this, like, whole law court, this, like, her court cases? She's getting, like, you know, documents to sign. I guess she's supposed to sign them in St. Bart's, but she never got to it. But then you guys are saying you're going to take her phone away. And it's like she has 2 young children and she's in the middle of a divorce and it makes you uncomfortable when she's on her phone. I just think them trying to literally viciously like make Lisa uncomfortable is making me uncomfortable. And it's crazy that Marisol, like I said, you have no children at all. And you're trying to tell this woman not to be on her phone. And you don't know if she's talking to her kids, her divorce attorney. Like, I just feel like that was so tone deaf. But Marisol always plays dirty because Marisol is still upset she doesn't have a mojito. I don't know why Bravo has not given her a mojito. I think that's the real tea. Because, like, you got Nicole off the show. You brought on this girl that you thought Nicole wouldn't have gotten along with if she was still on the show. And I think you thought that was going to give you a mojito, and they still don't have a mojito. Kiki doesn't have a mojito. I think she's envious of Gertie's. Kiki did an interview with Carlos King. I'm not recapping that. I think she's upset she doesn't have a mojito. And I think Adriana's upset she don't got a mojito. I don't know why none of them do. I really don't know. But it is beyond me that they're constantly trying to minimize what Lisa's going through. Also, her father just died. And then they're also upset now that she's taking notes when I just feel like you have to take notes, especially when the women are talking so much crap and like you can't keep up with what they're saying. Because I feel like one moment they're saying this, the next moment they're saying this. And I feel like especially when you're arguing with someone like Larsa Pimpin, you need to take notes so you know what she's saying. Because a lot of them try to backtrack what they're saying. I would suggest everyone when they're arguing with people take notes because a lot of people like to backtrack. So I don't like the whole let's take Lisa's phone, let's watch her suffer. I don't like that. I don't like Stephanie's power trip over this whole you sit here on my private jet, you sit over here, you guys can't talk for the duration of a 22-minute flight. She like dangles her wealth, and Alexia hit it on the nail when she was talking about that like a couple of episodes ago, how like that's how you move. She was right. She was right the whole time. Gertie, there's a funny part when Gertie's like doing Adriana's makeup. Adriana's clearly drunk. We're gonna get it to Adriana. Yeah, because that's really what happened this episode. We're gonna get to Adriana, but she's doing her makeup, and Adriana's like a white woman. I mean, she's like, I like to be dark. As Gertie, a black woman, is doing her makeup, and Gertie looks at the camera like, oh, okay. I mean, she's talking about her eyeshadow, but you could just tell Gertie was like, oh, okay. Like, I don't know what I'm supposed to do with that information. So Lisa has finally unfollowed Marcus. Jordan. I feel like she should have been unfollowed him. But I also understand Lisa, like, I'm not going to give you the satisfactory of unfollowing him now when you've been such a jerk to me. Like, you know what I mean? And she shared that with Adriana, Kiki, and Gertie, and they agreed not to announce it to the group because Lisa also wanted to see, is she making a big deal out of it? Is she checking on it as much as she should? Or is this all to just keep it going? So Adriana is drunk at the dinner and she spills the beans, even though Gertie was like, I'm shocked you just shared that because we had all agreed not to. Kiki was visibly annoyed because they say Kiki is the one that spills the beans on everything. So Kiki is basically like, yeah, it was actually Adriana. And Adriana somehow gets triggered with that and she tells Kiki to stop being ratchet. And I really don't think she meant to say ratchet, but I'm not going to excuse that because it's like you're talking to a Black woman. Why are you telling her not to be ratchet? And that's why I'm shocked she even used that term because Adriana's vocabulary, her history, like she is a smart woman. So for out of all the words to say ratchet to a Black woman in Miami on the Miami cast was wild because it's like your vocabulary is so much more complex and better than that. Like you are a historian. Like Adriana is one of the most smartest people on that cast and probably of all Bravo. She's so smart. She goes to Harvard. So it was definitely shocking. She definitely was drunk, but like said, they don't make it right. But it's like Kiki's not ratchet, and it wasn't a ratchet situation. That's why I don't think she meant to say it, but it still don't make it right. But I am shocked out of all of the words that Adriana for sure knows, she decided to use that word. So that was just a shock. None of the ladies like supported Kiki. They were like, she's overreacting, which brings me to the whole drink toss. So now we're finally seeing how they minimize the Black women's feelings in the group. They said she was overreacting. Adriana didn't mean it. I don't think she meant it, but it's just crazy. And Kiki's like, what? I'm not overreacting. Like, she literally just called me ratchet. I'm going to show her something to be ratchet about. And I'm just like, Kiki. So now do you see us as viewers, how we felt about when Gertie got water tossed on her from another white woman on the cast and how no one really had her back? And it's like, you did all this kissing up to this group of white women and they still ain't had your back. They still are the ones turning around saying you're the one overreacting. It's unfortunate because I don't think Adriana meant it that way, but I think Adriana was dead wrong for saying that. And then Kiki called her ode, and that really struck a chord with Adriana. Adriana says she has said this multiple times in the after show. And then Adriana basically says she's going to go take care of Kiki's kids because she is an old grandma. And Kiki's like, well, my mom is taking care of her. The ladies are embarrassed and leave. And that's when, like, we see the scene of Stephanie, like, concocting a whole seating chart for her PJ. And you could tell Marisol getting visibly uncomfortable. And you could see Larsa just being a kiss butt because Larsa, if anything, chases that lifestyle so much because, like, you're not with Scottie Pippen, you're with a Kardashian. If you're not with a Kardashian, you're with a Jordan. And if you're not with a Jordan, you're not with a Stephanie, whatever her last name is. A new money type of girl. But that was basically Miami. I've been eating up Miami. I think it's been really good. But I do think Miami, out of a lot of the cast, like they need to be careful with this whole like microaggressions with the Black women on these shows because it really reeks and they're really not giving mercy to like the Black women. Like it's like the Black women are overreacting. They say Gertie was overreacting with the drink toss, and now they're saying Kiki's overreacting to being called ratchet. There's nothing that she overreacted with, and I don't think she was being ratchet in the moment. But I also don't think Adriana meant ratchet. So I'm very interested for the next episode. But that was basically a whole catch up. Like this is definitely a longer episode. As I said, Tuesdays are gonna definitely be over an hour for sure now, especially because I'm not gonna have Friday episodes every week. I will have a Friday episode next Friday, and it'll be a what's the reality on what the reality. I'm really excited about what that topic is gonna be. Because I started RHOM again, and I wanted to go back to a relationship. If you haven't, make sure you listen to What's the Reality on Bethany and Carol. friendship fallout. I have 2 parts of that. Also, make sure you listen to Portia and Simon's relationship, like their relationship was, because I get into some serious timelines. And also Candy and Phaedra's. People love that one. I also have Paige DeSorbo and Craig Conover's up, but people are eating up the Carol Radziwill and Bethany Frankel. That's why I'm really excited for this next roaming topic. And I think I'm going to stick to like relationship fallouts and friendship fallouts. I think that's kind of like my angle. Because there's just so many dynamic relationships in the Bravo world from these shows and stuff. But yes, I will see you guys next Tuesday for Toxic, but it is Tuesday. And then, of course, next Friday. And I hope you guys have an amazing week. Make sure you guys leave a 5-star comment. Make sure you leave a 5-star rating. Not a 5-star comment. Well, definitely leave a 5-star comment. And 5-star rating. Tell me what you think. And this will be the regular programming for sure.
Period. Thank you so much for listening to my podcast, What the Reality with me, Cashay Roberts. Don't forget to leave a 5-star rating and a comment wherever you listen to your podcast. Let me know what I should be doing. Let me know how I'm doing. All compliments are welcome. Until the next time.